You can also think of churn as one of the user journeys through your product or your service that you want to be thinking about from onboarding to offboarding, right? So from the first time they touch your product or service to when they quit, whether that's good churn or bad churn, and we can kind of talk about that in a minute, like what's a good churn versus a bad churn. But there are ways to kind of take the pulse of your user or your customer the whole way through that user journey of their experience of whatever it is that you're offering, right? And so, for instance, you want to keep the lines of communication with that customer or that user open the whole way through your product or service journey. And so there are ways that you can check in, and there are ways that you can do this that are completely hands-off. You can start to segmentize that population of churned users and think, which are the ones that we should have been able to keep, right? So the ones who didn't close their business.
Yeah.
Price wasn't the bottom line, because it's just, there's a cheaper alternative, and the price is the number one thing. It's nothing you did wrong. It's if you can't meet me at the price point, then I gotta go, right? And that's, those may be the customers you want to go after. So deciding on which segment of the churn customers you want to look at. And then this is where those front-facing people in your company can really help you, because you want to maybe send an email or a personal communication. You don't want to send a survey. For those customers you really would have wanted to keep, and you want to understand what their motivations were and maybe where in that user journey they started to think, this is not right for me anymore. You want to really personalize that. We had a person churn, and we sent a user researcher out to do an interview. And this was during COVID. And so it was like when small businesses were closing, and we had video of it. We showed it internally all the time. And it was like, our user was like crying on camera, talking about like how she had no business. There was no money. So of course she can't pay for our service because there's just no business. And this is why, she's not using her card reader this month. And it was so impactful internally to say, like, these are real people who are our customers, and they're real users experiencing real pain. And sometimes, there's nothing we can do. But the fact that we went out and talked to her and gave her our time and said, we really are concerned about what you're experiencing, right? That made all the difference in the world, right? And she was one of those people that came back and started using her card reader again when business picked up.